But we do have the draft underway. Here we go. Cool, cool. Vox Nihili, first pick, first ban, wasting no time. Banning Falstad out.
I actually like that decision because if We Are Not Prepared bans Zagara, so there's limited solo laning options. The major advantage of Zagara, in addition to the fact she pushes the lane, is how safe she is with creep. So if you ban Falstad, so you don't have the global, and the enemy team bans Zagara, and then you lock down one of the stronger solo laners, that solo laner is suddenly much, much safer from gank attempts because the rotation, there's time to warn your solo laner that someone's rotating or MIA, whereas with Flight, that's just not possible. And with Zagara's creep, she's usually safe, so safe that even that is not enough. So it's an interesting decision from Vox. They're going to go for, I would assume, some sort of map control style of draft with that decision. Let's see what they opt to first pick. Their first pick will give us a lot more information about exactly why they banned that Falstad out.
Yeah, it's an interesting monopoly to try to have. If We Are Not Prepared goes for the Lost Vikings or something like that, they have effectively taken an option away from themselves to counteract that. Could Vox Nihili themselves be eyeing the Lost Vikings? That is a set of heroes that can get some work done. I don't think we're going to see Zagara at all this afternoon. No. I don't think it's a choice to let Zagara through on the draft, but we are going to see Kerrigan get picked up first. I mentioned that they like to play aggressive, and Kerrigan's a hero that can do that for you.
Indeed. Actually, you bring up Vikings. We don't ever see Vikings on Infernal Shrines outside of EU, but the Diablo maps in general have much stronger mercenary camps, which gives the Merklord a lot more power. And Merklord is an option for Vikings. And you pick heroes that are good at delaying shrines, good at stealing some of the shots, or some of the last hits, on the monsters, so that you can, if you end up at 39-39 and lose the Punisher, but that entire time you had all three lanes being soaked, and in some cases being soaked with Merc pressure, with a Merklorded camp of Vikings, that is devastating. And forcing the enemy team to play around that, to match their rotations to one hero that's, constantly causing this map pressure. I'm actually a little bit surprised that we don't see Vikings on Infernal Shrines in NA, but I guess a big part of that is there aren't that many Viking players in NA. We actually, we went through a whole tournament where Garden of Terror was played multiple games, and Vikings were neither picked nor banned in any of those games. So,
yeah, I mean, the main reason why I throw that out there is I like you, am wondering the reasoning behind the Falstad ban right out of the gate. Strong hero, obviously. Very good at engage and disengage, but what does Falstad bring to the table that you're particularly worried about? One of the things is his ability to fly across the map and take out a Viking. But they are going to pick up ETC, hovering Sylvanas. They're going to lock her in. Vox Nihili have all the tools. I don't think they would need Lost Vikings at this point. They have all the engage in the world in ETC and Kerrigan. And if they get any of those Punishers, We Are Not Prepared's going to feel it.
Indeed. And Vox Nihili has the ultimate, in some ways, the scariest combination. Kerrigan is the best shrine babysitter. She can do the shrine faster by herself than any other hero. And in some cases, some teams can do it. And Sylvanas, once you get the Punisher, doubles the value of any Punisher that your team gets. So if you're guaranteed to get the Punisher, and you can double the value of every Punisher that you get, that's pretty scary. It's one of those things. Sylvanas doesn't normally last even this long in the draft. Normally, if one team picks up a Shrine Babysitter, the other team will pick up Sylvanas just to be like, okay, now you can't have this.
Right.
But We Are Not Prepared with the Kael'thas Brightwing. They're looking for sustained fights where that damage can add up over time, and Brightwing can mitigate the poke and potential from the other team. You get the Polymorph on Kerrigan if she dives in, negating that dive potential, especially if Brightwing ends up going Emerald Wind as well. So We Are Not Prepared now needs to pick a strong front line to make sure that it's hard for Kerrigan and ETC to angle for those stuns into the back line, which means Polymorph will be enough. And they pick up Johanna, which is the ultimate peel, arguably the best peeler in the game. And they're looking at Gazlowe. They lock in the Gazlowe. So the update to Gazlowe's talent, where Clockwork Steam Fists, where the turrets basically become permanent as long as he's auto-attacking something, is actually really good on Infernal Shrines. Because if you have, up to 10 turrets on the shrine and you're attacking the shrine minions and those turrets are just never going to go away, you're in good shape. The problem here is that the turret's health bars are just about big enough that a Kerrigan can reset her Ravage on them if she has the 25% boost from Clean Kill, the talent at level 4. So the turrets actually become Kerrigan's skipping stones to go from place to place, and she will get on top of you using them and then kill you. So it's a little bit of a give and take. A little bit of a give and take, the benefits of the turrets versus a Kerrigan.
You know, at the beginning of the draft, I didn't really see where We Are Not Prepared was going with their composition. Brightwing and Kael'thas both are competent heroes, but they're not like that headlining attraction, in my opinion, where it's like, oh, all right, they're strong out of the gate. Not on the same level of like Kerrigan, ETC, Sylvanas. And I guess they were just waiting to pull this Gazlowe card out. I can comfortably say that they could have waited to pick that one last. I guess they just wanted to see what Vox was going to go for and then try to counterpick. But this is a gamble. I don't know how I feel about it.
And you gotta ask yourself this question though: if they didn't save the Gazlowe pick for last, what were they hiding, right?
What? 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 What?
So, I guess they're going for Condemn into Gravabomb into Purifier Beam. Purifier Beam does actually do area of effect damage around it, so if you can force everyone to group up on top of each other, it does quite a lot of work. We might even see Unstable Anomaly from Brightwing at level 4 to just add on insult to injury. Uther is picked up and Lunara is picked up to deny the Lunara punish. Lunara is very good against Uther, and now they have access to both Divine Mosh and a Divine Maelstrom for Kerrigan. So Vox Nihili, very standard draft for this map, very typical sort of arrangement, but We Are Not Prepared, pulling out the pocket picks, and we're going to see how that stacks up on Infernal Shrines.
I am loath to make too many predictions here because, Cavalier, you and I know yesterday, if you guys were around, we saw an unusual draft on this very map, and I coined that composition the Magikarp because I just did not see where it was going, what it could do. Now, there are a little bit more, there's more lethality in We Are Not Prepared's composition. I tend to be a pretty strong proponent of Gazlowe. But Gazlowe and Artanis, I just feel like you're starting to stray off the path a little too much. There's viability there. But Vox Nihili has so many options to disrupt Artanis' ability to get his shield procs with stuns, silence, and everything else that it's just like, I feel like he's going to be a liability on the front line. And they're relying on Brightwing's passive non-burst style healing alone? I don't know. The Magikarp had Brightwing and Tassadar. I don't know.
That is a factor. It's nice that the entire team can interrupt Mosh Pit. You have Poly from Brightwing plus potentially Emerald Wind. You have Swap from Artanis. You have Explodium Charge from Gazlowe, Gravity Lapse from Kael'thas, and Blessed Shield and Condemn from Johanna. So even though they are triple melee, they're very unlikely to get caught in a mosh that they can't deal with as long as they manage their cooldowns well. It's always something to consider.
We're about to find out, man. This best of 3 is going to kick off. I don't know how this was going to go. But on the left side, we do have Vox Nihili in blue. Goat, all caps on Kerrigan. Yoda playing Sylvanas Hosty on Uther. Daihu's playing ETC. Zeus is on Lunara.
And on the red side, the devil's side, We Are Not Prepared has Shalando. America on Brightwing, America Madman on Johanna, Hum CF on Kael'thas, Bost on Artanis, and Raw on Gazlowe. And a very neutral talent pick, level 1 so far for Johanna. We see Reinforce picked up. Her specialized, slightly better version of Block. Not going for that wave clear talent. I guess she feels like her team has enough wave clear, but we're seeing Vox cheesing top with that Sylvanas, gonna get this top tower for free. We Are Not Prepared, was not prepared for that. And they're gonna get that tower for free and just leave.
Yoda with the Haunting Wave, disrupting the potential engagement. The swap from Artanis just barely misses Zeus. So they have done it. They've gotten this tower, and they've gotten away with their very lives. Not a bad start for the members of Vox Nihili. Zeus is gonna hang out here by themselves. They have to respect the swap, because if False lands that, the Gravity Lapse would have been there, could have had a bad time. Looks like Vox Nihili is committing to a 1-3-1 setup for the moment. You're going to have Artanis waiting the wings to see if they can get the jump on Bambi. But look at this, Goat's starting to rotate down. They might try to make a play for Gazlowe.
Indeed. We see a little bit of an interesting decision here from We Are Not Prepared. They're just basically flipping who their solo lane is at. Normally, Gazlo is considered one of the stronger solo laners in the game. It's his team fight potential that's usually considered a little bit problematic. But he's actually solo laning in the bottom lane here. But 3-man pressure from Vox, this 1-1-3, is going to completely negate that. And they're already up to the tower. They're just abusing that Sylvanas and using Kerrigan plus Uther to guard the Sylvanas and pressure this bottom lane very hard.
It's interesting. I mean, it's taking all the value of Gazlo out the window. It's going to be hard for him to just be in some lane, living his life, trying to apply pressure somewhere else on the map. Because I feel like they're going to need all hands on deck for these shrine phases. Unless they manage to get a kill in rotation before the shrine actually activates. I think at least the early games can be hard to get the full merits out of this composition for We Are Not Prepared. But the shrine phase is here. No one's trying to kick that party off just yet. False is going to rotate up. And see who tries to step out here and get things started.
You can see Vox waiting for level 4 before they actively want to go in on the shrine. They want to have that talent tier advantage before they try and go in. Johanna already popping Iron Skin this early. They will be able to get on top of her with that stun. That's a 2-man stun with the power slide follow-up. CF going to go down as well as Chandelou. Ugh. American Madman as well. And that is 3 kills to none. Vox and Nihili putting themselves up on the board. And this are going to get off of that with the Kerrigan at level 4, clean kill. She's going to be able to secure this Punisher by herself. Ra sticking his neck out a little bit. And Yoda going to Haunting Wave aggressively in, trying to get the finish off, but the Daihu's power slide did miss, and that is going to be enough for Ra to barely make it out. But with Sylvanas, they're just going to push this lane while Kerrigan babysits the shrine.
I mean, We're Not Prepared in a rough spot. They just do not have the early game composition. Not with ETC and Kerrigan jumping around and securing all sorts of engage. I'm wondering if they would have been better off just going to try to establish counter pressure somewhere, having Gazlo to go soak. But when you're facing Sylvanas, that's not really a luxury that you have available to you. We're going to see the Arcane Punish get picked up raw on the wrong side of things, going to get taken out. False is trying to make their way out. Not going to happen. 5 takedowns to 0, 3.5 minutes in a game. And with Sylvanas and an Arcane Punisher, a pretty big start for Vox Nihili.
It is an amazing start from Vox. The only bad thing for Vox right now is the GOAT had to go back and tap, so he wasn't there to follow up on the Punisher combo to guarantee multiple kills, but he came back after the tap, got the 2-man combo, and is going to get an additional 2 kills. And the GOAT's only problem this game literally has been he doesn't have enough mana to take advantage of all the kill opportunities that We Are Not Prepared is giving him. That's a good problem to have.
I mean, they are steamrolling through We Are Not Prepared right now. When you handily take the first Arcane Punisher and you have Sylvanas, it's standard fare to come away with the first 4. But look at this. This Punisher still has 20% health. It's going to jump over the wall, land a stun, the Kerrigan combo. Iron Skin is not going to be enough. We're looking at the 10th takedown of the game, less than 5 minutes in. This is rough.
That is 10 takedowns. That is double digits before the 5-minute mark. That is a keep wall and an entire fourth. That was a full 5-man push. And Goats, again, you're going to have to back off and get mana. This is a major problem. I think he's going to have all game long. Just not enough mana. And he does decide to stay, help his team with the camp. Foss on Artanis getting caught out again, but nice triple gravity laps from CF, saving his teammate, and they're just going to back off and proceed down their lanes. They can play very safe at this point. Vox and Nihili basically can't lose this game right now. We Are Not Prepared is going to have to be very careful to take advantage of any mistakes they see to have any chance of coming back.
I mean, as far as coming back goes, it's gonna be tough. I feel like their best shot is once they get their heroics, and Gazlo's gonna have to land the gravel bombs of the century, pretty much. To where it's like, their composition almost doesn't matter because there's so much lockdown in the Wombo that they just are able to wipe the members of Vox Nihili. But these guys know how to play the game. Pretty sure they're gonna be ready for that.
Yeah, indeed. And a 2 talent tier advantage coming up here. It's very brief, but level 10 achieved before We Are Not Prepared gets level 7. That doesn't happen very often. It's very rare to be up 2 talent tiers at any point in the game, but to be up the 10 talent tier is exceptional.
We saw Red Team pull it off a couple of times. Oh no! Kael'thas taking that cursory glance, decided to go for a stroll through the jungle area. That's a Another pair of kills in the blink of an eye. Vox Nihili says, "Oh, free kills? You're gonna give us this bruiser camp for free in effect? Sure, thanks. And actually, we're gonna go ahead and body block Johanna and melt her as though she's Jaina, and get our 14th takedown of the game. They're over 2 takedowns a minute at this point.
And this is the problem with being so far behind, because you need to soak in order to make sure you can catch up or even stay even. You need all that experience gain. But generally speaking, you're this far behind and you have limited wave clear. Johanna did not take 9 spawn at level 1. You have to rotate your wave clear to keep your lanes pushed out, but the only way to rotate safely is if, your tank's there, and Johanna was not there, Faust was not there, so HumCF just walked into a bush and got absolutely erased. He was on his side of the map, but it doesn't matter if you're on your side of the map when the other team has such a huge advantage. Raw gonna try and channel a laser at Kerrigan as she's doing her combo on him. Does not work out for him. He gets extremely chunked, and only being literally next to his towers saves him. Otherwise, the power slide from Daihu would have caught him, and that would have been another kill for Vox.
I mean, the last place that they could reasonably be, the members We Are Not Prepared, is in this shrine phase. Yet here they are. You're gonna see the fire mage get blown up. Brightwing died, came back, died again within this one shrine phase. 18 takedowns. This is an absolute bloodbath.
On the bright side, this will not have been a perfect game. We Are Not Prepared did manage to get 1 tower in the bottom lane.
The disappoint. Son, I am disappointed. We got the Frozen Punisher. Level 13 is not too far off. We are again looking at a 2-tier advantage. And the window's going to be a lot larger because level 9 hasn't even been gotten by We Are Not Prepared. John Cena jumps over the wall, lands on Raw. Brightwing is there to apply the shield. It was almost like they just allowed the both of them to leave. They're like, let's just get this fort. Goat rotates down. He has a thing or two to say about that, though. 13 is here. It's getting out of hand, man.
Divine Shield was not used. Maelstrom is back up, so as this Punisher jumps over this wall, Goat's going to be able to go in deep and guarantee a survival with the Divine Shield. He goes over the wall, gets the combo. Divine Shield still not even used. Maelstrom does get popped. Brightwing is erased, and Goats just has no fear, ravaging back to Faust. Faust ends up going down. And this is one of those things, when your Kerrigan dives the back line, you can't stay in the front line. She can dive back to you. Wailing Arrow comes down as well. American Madman going down. The Punisher is gone, but they have a Sylvanas, so it doesn't even matter. They're going to be able to get this keep for free. Meanwhile, that was a 4v5. Lunara in the top lane got the entire top wall and is starting to work on the top keep.
I mean, this is about as one-sided as it could possibly get. I mean, We Are Not Prepared. They seemingly are living up to their name, because I am seeing a noted lack of preparation. I mean, Vox Nihili is a team that was doing interviews after sets in Burbank because they were winning against top tier teams. So if you felt like you were gonna be able to come in here and get away with Gazlo Artanis, I don't know about that. This is the closest to a 3-tier advantage I may have ever seen.
I think they're going to get that 3-tier advantage. The keep is going to go down due to Lunara poison. All they do is use like 1 or 2 minion waves or get 1 or 2 kills, and they're going to hit 16. 16! Oh, the Mosh does get interrupted, though. We talked about that in the draft. There's no way that they're going to get a value Mosh there. But Lunara, Zeus coming in from the top, getting poison on absolutely everyone. When you're ahead as Lunara, you're really far ahead because of the way she scales, and that will be a 3, 4... Can we make it a full? I think we're going to make this an ace. This is going to be a 5-man wipe. And
they've done it! They've done it!
Advantage.
I have literally never seen that. A first in my casting career, the fabled 3-tier advantage. That whole progression of events, Lunara was just casually playing the accordion in the top lane, just PvEing to their heart's content. And the moment Zeus rotated down, it got even uglier for We Are Not Prepared.
Indeed. It is worth noting, because Vox is so far ahead, the death timers are based on how high a level your team is. So the death timers for You Are Not Prepared are still very, very short. The reason Vox is playing this very carefully and not just trying to end the game is they could, with that Wombo combo, potentially get wiped. That's why they're going to look for one more ace here, and then they can probably end the game. But up to this point, they would not have quite been able to end. Their lanes weren't pushed in enough. And after this wipe, I think they'll feel confident they can finally go core. 14 seconds is enough time but they couldn't have ended before this, not 100% safely. So it's not that they were, being bullies or anything. They actually just wanted to make sure that they 100% won the game and didn't leave any opportunities for You're Not Prepared to come back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was an active BM at all. They've been playing this game clean as a whistle. So getting that last ace, the second ace of the game, definitely is going to close this out. A 7-level advantage to close out game 1. Ouch. Ouch. I mean, post game, I really try to highlight a couple of moments where it's like these were key turning points, right? This positioning here, this thing happened there, this player made a really good play here. Someone could have done something better there. In a situation like this, I think the word bodied encapsulates all the analysis that could possibly be had. I mean, they just got rocked the moment they loaded onto the map.
Yeah, I mean, they were 0 kills to 0 kills up to level 4, up to that first shrine. But once those first 3 kills went down, it was 3 kills basically at the same time, the floodgates opened and Vox just would not let up the pressure. Their only moral victory is it was not a technically perfect game because they got 1 tower down in that bottom lane. That's
I mean, so we are not prepared. I would assume they're a little rattled. I would assume that there was some psychological impact had over the course of that game. But the upside for that, it's almost like you kind of have to forget that game happened. You can't really feel too bad about that one because you thought you were going to get away with Gazlo Artanis. It's like we didn't play them straight up. If we actually drafted with any regard to the meta, we might have been able to play better. So, these guys are good. Evidently. Vox Nihili knows how to play, so let's just leave Gazlo. Let's just leave Artanis, as much as I hate to say it. Leave him off on the side and see if we can do this one a little more by the book. We're already in the second draft. We're already in the lobby. Vox Nihili's trying to get out of here. They're ready to go. I mean, I just got out of the loading screen, and I was already getting invited to the next lobby. They're gonna go ahead and ban out Kerrigan.
I guess they don't want to deal with that again. They're like, oh, well, okay. Kerrigan, as it turns out, is pretty good. We don't want to deal with her, ever. Vox Nihili letting Zagara through. I'm not sure how I feel about that, because if we are not prepared, pick Zagara up and actually has a good Zagara player, they're going to dominate that bottom lane with her. But I think Vox is probably thinking that We Are Not Prepared is going to pick, go more off meta, focus on those off meta picks, and as a result, they'll be able to pick up Zagara. And if they pick up Zagara and dominate that bottom lane, We Are Not Prepared, picking up that Falstad, Zagara is actually going to go through, and we're going to have a good example of why Zagara has not been going through in any of these traps.
I mean, the ban on Murden, that just says to me, Vox Nihili is like, we could take the composition you drafted against us last game and beat you. So, in effect, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter what you have. Because I'm not getting the Murden ban. We're going to see some cheekiness out of the side of Vox Nihili, Abathur. The setup is kind of a staple for them now. Let's see where they're going with this.
They're going for the team fight. Oh, I wanted to see Zagara so bad, but they're going for Abathur Illidan. They're just going to constantly rotate and kill We Are Not Prepared. Anytime they're overextended at all, Illidan will kite them down with the hat, and they're not getting out of that. Falstad in particular, if he mistimes his barrel roll to not play around Illidan's dive, is just Illidan food. Zagara finally picked up, though, for We Are Not Prepared, making it to the second round of picks.
I mean, if I'm Vox Nihili, I would not be too dismayed. They couldn't have been. They banned out Murden instead of Zagara. It's just like, I think Vox Nihili has every reason to believe that just their technical ability is going to carry them through the day. You're going to see Falstad Zagara. Those are two very powerful tools to have, not only in general, but on a map like Sky Temple. So if we are not prepared, are going to shock the members of Vox Nihili, they're going to need heroes like this to pull it off.
Nihili locked in for We're Not Prepared. Nihili actually considered, especially in EU, to be a hard counter to Illidan by many teams. We don't normally see her picked in that role as a solo support. Normally she's essentially a bruiser who does end up doing a lot of spread damage with the Mass Vortex talent plus blinding, plus Gale Force talents at level 1 and 4. And even has acceptable wave clear if you pick up Lightning Serpent at 7, and then it does a lot of more spread damage at 16 with Serpent Sidekick. It's a very specific build. Actually, I went and looked at the stats the other day, and it has I believe it has 100% win rate in professional play. Bruiser Nihili, but not as a solo support. Don't necessarily do this in like Hero League or anything, guys, but as an off support, Nihili with her Bruiser build has like 100% win rate, and it's always to counter AA-centric teams. And we are going to see a very AA-centric team here from Vox Nihili, Greymane and Illidan.
I mean, thank you, We Are Not Prepared. It's almost like they've been watching episodes of Meta the Storm or they've seen me talk enough to where they're picking all the heroes I like. They're picking Nihili, they picked Artanis, and I saw the commands, Lord Boo. I saw the commands. Artanis can work, okay? It didn't work last game, but it can work. They picked Gazlo. People after my own hearts. But if they lock in solo support Nihili, however, I don't know, man. This last selection is gonna be critical because Illidan and Greymane, along with Abathur, once level 10 comes,
that's double tank versus Serial. I don't know. Soul support Nihili, maybe not the right decision here from We Are Not Prepared. But if we look at Vox Nihili's ref, Illidan essentially has like 3 supports. He has an Abathur hat, he's going to have Rhaegar, and he's going to have Tyrael for Righteousness plus Sanctification. That's a lot of supporting for an Illidan. Generally speaking, if you give an Illidan enough support, he won't die. We've even seen tankless comps that have like triple support and an Illidan and just one good clone target for the Abathur.
CG, man. This one's gonna be rough. That's my prediction. I just do not see We Are Not Prepared having the tools to deal with this kind of not only sustained split pressure, like Vox Nihili has so many options available to him. You clone Greymane, you can rip everybody's face off. You clone Illidan, you're gonna have these 2 animals jumping all over your backline. And Nihili is strong, but I don't think she's gonna have the support to really deal with this. Falstad and Zagara are gonna have to have the games of their very lives to do anything close to enough damage to put the slightest dent in this lineup for Vox Nihili. Vox Nihili's gonna have to go so far out of position, they're gonna have to go to like Battlefield of Eternity. Like they gotta leave the map to be out of position for this to really work. I don't get it, man.
I don't
get it.
I don't think they're going to be able to do it. I don't think they're going to be able to deal with that Illidan. I don't think they're going to be able to stay conservative enough in lane. And I don't think that they're going to be able to get the full value out of the Falstad. Or even the wave clear, because we did see them pick up Joe last game and they did not take Night Takes Pawn. And Night Takes Pawn is a critical talent for Johanna. It's being made baseline in the next patch for a reason. You need that wave clear to stay ahead on the map and have vision, because Johanna doesn't have an escape ability. It's hard for her to be a mobile ward for her team and protect her team if she doesn't have that small advantage. That's a different way of giving vision to your team by making sure all your lanes are always pushed out. But it's the same idea. And if you don't play her that way, she tends to be a lot weaker than every other tank. It's just, especially with Abathur with the mines, Vision's going to be so critical. Illidan's just going to come up on people. Greymane's going to come up on people with probably with the Illidan, to be honest, and that person's just going to get erased.
I mean, I hate to sound overly critical of players. I mean, you and I have the luxury of just being objective viewers, eyes in the sky. You know, the pressure's not on us. But there haven't been too many instances where I've looked at a draft, a team manages to get Zagara and Falstad this day and age, and I'm like, they lost that draft bad. I'm not getting it. I mean, maybe they're just out here for funsies. Maybe this is just a recreational, you know, let's have a couple of beers, a couple of laughs. And I just don't see it. I see we are not prepared, continuing to look like they have a notable lack of preparation and readiness. And Vox Nihili is going to have a little bit of a wait while the rest of the other set plays out to see who they're going to play again next. That's how I see this guy. We're about to find out, though. Load it in. 1-0 in this best-of-3 set. Tournament lives on the line for We Are Not Prepared. On the left side, we got the members of Vox Nihili. Goat is on Greymane. Who's playing Tyrael. Zeus on Illidan. Hosty's playing Rakar. And Yoda is rocking that Avatar.
And We Are Not Prepared. We have Shalando on Lili. America Madman on Zagara. A little bit of a switch up there. Hum CF on Falstad. Raw on Chen. And Faust on Johanna. But still picking up that reinforced talent at level 1, despite the fact that the player playing Johanna has changed.
You're going up against Illidan. He's going to melt block off of you rather quick. I don't get it, man.
Apparently, you don't need Zagara to cheese towers at the top. All you need is evasion on Illidan. That is enough. And they get all of top tower and half of the bottom one before being forced out. Dayu actually getting caught by Raw with the chain kick here, but he's a Tyrael. He has a hat. He's going to be absolutely fine. Meanwhile, Abathur in the bot lane ensuring that Vox Nihili doesn't miss any soak at all. And this is the exact same thing they did last game. This is a bait, especially on the bigger maps. If you have one hero rotate to the bottom lane and you cheese top and the entire enemy team comes to respond to you, even if you give up a kill, as long as you get the tower and the enemy team misses at least one wave in the bottom lane, you end up ahead in experience. But Hum CF with the fly actually going to come down, make sure he misses barely any, but Yoda in the bush. Hum CF does not see him at first, and Yoda just going to be fly behind his wall, nice and safe. Hum CF, if he checked that bush, I could have actually gotten the kill there.
Interesting start so far. I mean, a minute and 15 into this game, you're losing your entire top wall. Almost a full level lead. Things are looking pretty good for Vox Nihili so far. First set of temples in the top and mid lane of parts of the map respectively are going to show up right about meow. Zeus is hanging out here ready to get the shots off of that. I just feel like the early game has to be We Are Not Prepared's moment. Like, they have to try to make something happen before that ultimate evolution gets picked up, and then they're dealing with 5 full bodies. I just don't know if it's gonna happen, man.
Don't think it's going to work for them. The macro game being demonstrated here by Vox. If you get that bottom, if you get one tower and then you get top temple, you are guaranteed to get the entire fort already going down. Because they got even more than that, they're going to get the top tower and the top fort. They're going to get the entire top outer structures. They're going to start to work on mid. America Madman extremely low, getting chunked out in the mid lane. And Abathur just hanging out bot. Soken giving his team so far a full level lead and a talent tier advantage.
A little bit of boldness on the side of Vox Nihili. They jumped in there in something of a staggered manner, so Dayu gets chunked out. He has to back away. Zeus on Illidan wasn't there, so then it was Hosty's turn to take something of a beating. So that little, incursion they tried to pull off didn't exactly go as well as it could have if they went in there as a full unit. But they don't lose any heroes. There haven't been any takedowns just yet. Level 7 not too far off for Vox Nihili. Hosty is playing a somewhat dangerous game, trying to keep Goat alive. Daihus is surrounded by red. Zeus jumps in there as well. You're going to have America Madman. Zagar's going to be first to fall. False pops Iron Skin. Is it going to be enough? Illidan could have pressed the issue, but no. You're going to see Johanna getting taken down anyway.
Both of those kills actually secured by the amount of damage Zeus was doing with a very unusual level 1 talent choice, Battered Assault. We almost never see this picked up on Illidan in favor of that Immolation for the additional wave clear and the additional, damage that's guaranteed, not negateable by blinds, which is something you normally pick against Illidan. Battered Assault versus Double Tank actually allows you to melt the tanks. You can focus them, and with that increased damage from Greymane, as well, as long as they're on the same target, the two of them together can kill any of the frontliners, even through that reinforce from Johanna.
We'll see if they get value out of that. All indicators seem to point, in my opinion, that they will. They're gonna have a pretty good time. Level 7 is here. The Abathur talents definitely speak towards team fighting. You're gonna have the increased attack speed, Needle Spine for more damage on the symbiote stab. So no slowdown of rotations thanks to a mine setup. Along with the Purge Evil talent that Daihu took at level 1, they're looking to scrap. They're not looking to do anything but blow people up.
And as they blow people up, Greymane will get stronger and stronger. He did pick up a Wizened Duelist at 7. And Farsight actually picked up for Rhaegar at level 7, going for the Vision, not worried at all about Blessed Shield, that stun element, not feeling like he needs Cleanse at all. Just going for the Vision on the map, which is an amazing amount of vision considering they also have Abathur Mines.
This is going to be interesting. Level 7 is not yet here. Daihu down here soaking up the shots. Could have put the other members out of position, but no. It's going to get Zagar. It's going to be Zagar getting deleted really quick. Shalando's trying to get back home, but Nihili is not ready for that adventure. You have 3-0. 3-0 so far in terms of takedowns in his team fight. Level 7 is a hair late understatement. I just don't think we are not prepared to hung around here at all.
Now, they absolutely should not have. You never want to fight down a talent here if you can avoid it, particularly with the Falstad. Falstad is the best Abathur hunter in the game, except for maybe Dahaka. And knowing that Abathur is in the top lane, you can see that wave pushing in with the Locust. He should have flown top, tried to get that pick. Everyone else should have gone and split up to soak. You don't ever want to fight down a talent here. They're just feeding in additional kills to the Greymane. Goat is now at 5 stacks of Wizened Duelist, halfway to finishing that up. And all of the forts are going to go down here shortly for We Are Not Prepared.
Other members of We Are Not Prepared just hanging around. You're going to see Falstad, Shin get blown up at the end of that. Shots are not actually yet completed. Daihu's going to hit the wall and go back. Level 10 is enjoyed by the members of Not Blocks the Nihili. So you're going to go for third. Sanctification, Metamorphosis, Ultimate Evolution as I suspected. And could we potentially see Bloodlust at the Bloodlust Open Qualifier? Could be. I mean with this kind of a lead, with this kind of confidence, I'd be like, YOLO. Like,
there's really no reason not to go Bloodlust here. We do see Goat and Zeus doing Greymane and Illidan things, just soloing a camp really quickly. They're going to get invaded here, but we're not prepared. But the point gets capped before they can even get close. Johanna tries to get in there and time within them, does not manage to succeed. And Bloodlust is picked up. We're going to see the turn. We're going to see Metamorphosis. Bloodlust is going to get popped momentarily, I hope. Oh, and that is so much damage.
We tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Daihu got pretty low. I understand why they really try to commit to that team fight, even down their heroics, but in the end, they're going to lose 4 members. Lili's trying to get those fast feet working, not going to be enough. Someone let Solid Jake know, we've seen Bloodlust in Bloodlust. Like, this is the dream for him. He's going to have a smile on his face after this. Top keep's going to drop. 13 might be looking at a 2-tier advantage before long. Daihu has to jump forward, puts himself in a tough spot. Might have the first takedown in the game of the set. For We Are Not Prepared.
We Are Not Prepared actually killed someone. The Death Explosion from Tyrael does get the counter kill, but they actually got a takedown. That's the first takedown from this set. They are now, I believe, 48-1 if you count all kills from the set.
Jeez Louise. 13 around the corner. Good lord. Zeus rotates back to mid. Soaking that lane. He's got a Metamorphosis if this gets too dicey. He's going to be able to get away just fine. He mounts up. Abathur's doing Abathur things up in the top lane. Temples are going to be here in 10 seconds at the top and bottom parts of the map. Being down 3 levels on a map like Sky Temple that is known for its snowbally nature, I'm wondering how we are not prepared responses.
I don't know, but they do have their heroics picked up now. We see Cups, Devouring Maw, Gust, Barrel, and Blessed Shield. And if you're gonna make anything happen in this kind of game, it's gonna be with Barrel. Barrel is one of the strongest heroics in the game. I know a lot of E players like to say it's one of the top 5 heroics in the entire game, but they're just going core. They're gonna clone the Greymane. They have Illidan. Illidan on core can tank so much damage with his sustain. Double Greymane as well, and Sanctification coming down to deny the Gust, and that's gonna be game.
I like the idea because at first I was like, Vox Nihili going to the top part of the map leaves the boss potentially open. Not necessarily that we are not prepared, had the wave clear and siege damage to really steal that. But hanging out in the top lane is being like, well, we're just going to go in the game. Like, what's the